Everyone talks, everyone explains themselves, everyone gives themselves away. But those who truly win know the exact moment to stay silent. There's a kind of silence that isn't absence, it's strategy. And those who master it don't need to shout to be heard. They just stay quiet and win. Have you ever wondered why the ones who speak less always seem to know more? In a world where everyone is shouting, mastering silence becomes rare and powerful. Machiavelli realized this centuries ago. Speech creates appearances, but silence preserves reality. While some try to sound smart with words, others earn respect with silence. It's not about shyness, it's about strategy. And the masters of the game have known this for ages. Today, communication has become compulsive. Every second, someone is posting, replying, or explaining, but those playing at a higher level act differently. They watch in silence, while others expose themselves. Silence isn't absence, it's control of rhythm, attention, and mystery. That's why leaders, negotiators, and strategists speak less, but always at the right moment. They don't chase attention, they make attention come to them. And what if silence is more powerful than any well-crafted argument? Maybe that's why the most influential speak less and accomplish more. But hold on, there's much more behind this invisible strategy. Because talking too much has a cost, and few people realize how high it really is. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover now. Every time you speak, you pay a price, even if you don't notice. Each word creates expectations, locks you into decisions, and exposes weaknesses. It may seem harmless, but that's how you hand over your advantage on a silver platter. Those who talk too much are trapped by their own words. Those who stay silent keep control. And in the game of power, control is everything. Machiavelli knew this. Speech exposes more than it protects. When you over-explain, you reveal your thinking, and with it your limits. You become predictable, manipulable, vulnerable. Meanwhile, those who listen silently collect information without giving anything away. It's an unfair trade, and only one side wins, but maybe the real danger isn't what you say. It's what you lose by constantly trying to justify yourself. Because those who overexpose themselves become ordinary, and the ordinary don't command respect. Want to learn how to flip the game and use silence as both shield and sword? Then pay close attention to what comes next. Because this is where the strategy truly begins. Not all silence is the same, and that changes everything. There's silence that gathers, silence that commands respect, and silence that confuses on purpose. Machiavelli didn't see silence as absence, but as a tool shaped by intention. And once you understand the three types of strategic silence, the game completely changes. You stop reacting and start controlling. The first is observational silence. Listen, analyze, and let others trick in the negotiator's playbook. Whoever speaks first loses. The second is authority-building silence. When you speak only what's necessary, every word becomes law. And the third is ambiguous silence, the kind that leaves things unclear and lets others interpret as they wish. It's the most powerful kind because it gives you total freedom without ever having to lie. These three types aren't isolated techniques. They're ways to dominate any situation, a meeting, a negotiation, or a personal conflict. Most people never learn this and just keep talking too much without realizing the damage. But those who master these silences win without needing to convince anyone. And the most curious part? Silence also dominates the mind. And that's what you'll understand now. Silence doesn't just protect, it shapes the listener's mind. When you say nothing, the other person fills the void with projections, doubts, and assumptions. This psychological effect is powerful. Silence becomes a mirror of their fears and desires. That's why great strategists don't persuade with arguments. They simply let the other side convince themselves. Machiavelli understood that silence creates her magnetic field of attention. Those who speak little are seen as wiser, more secure, more respectable. And it's the paradox. The less you reveal, the more power people think you have. The timid seem insecure, but the calculatedly silent command respect. It's a kind of influence that isn't forced. It's imposed through absence. And what if I told you that silence can make you seem smarter, stronger, and more trustworthy, even without saying a word? That's exactly what happens when you master the psychology of silence. But beware, there's a modern enemy to this strategy. A trap disguised as a virtue, and you need to recognize it now. We've been taught that transparency is always right, that sharing everything means being authentic. But what if that idea is secretly weakening you? Modern obsession with always being real has become a trap. Machiavelli would call it a strategic mistake, giving away information without getting anything in return. And the result? You become predictable, manipulable, average. The truth is, not everything needs to be said. Revealing plans too soon, exposing raw emotions, or justifying every move drains your power. Machiavelli didn't preach dishonesty. He defended selective sharing. Speak what strengthens you, protect what weakens you. And above all, don't feel obligated to explain yourself all the time. This mindset goes against everything we've been told about communication. But it works precisely because it's counterintuitive. While others expose themselves hoping for validation, you move quietly, with the upper hand. And if you want to learn how to do this without seeming cold or distant, the next step will show you exactly how. Staying silent isn't isolation, it's intentional action. Machiavelli wasn't talking about becoming a mute monk, but about using silence with precision. It's knowing when to observe, when to omit, and when to speak only what's essential. Yes, this can and should be applied. Because those who speak impulsively lose ground. Those who wait conquer. The first practice is simple. Listen more than you speak. Before giving your opinion, understand what others want, think, or fear. The second is using ambiguity on purpose. Leave room for interpretation without committing. And the third is the most powerful. Become comfortable with silence. Let others get lost trying to decipher what you didn't say. These three attitudes will transform meetings, negotiations, and even relationships. You'll start being seen as strategic, secure, and respectable. But the true master isn't just the one who applies the technique, it's the one who turns silence into a personal signature. And that's the level of mastery we're about to explore. The true master of silence isn't the one who never speaks. It's the one who speaks rarely but with such weight that every word becomes action. He doesn't need to justify, convince, or explain. He observes, calculates, and only speaks when words have more impact than silence. And because of that, he's always one step ahead. Machiavelli called this invisible wisdom. It's the art of winning without noise, of influencing without being seen, of leading without putting on a show. While everyone else fights for attention, the silent master attracts it effortlessly. His presence commands respect, not because he speaks a lot, but because he knows exactly when not to speak. Maybe that's why the greatest strategists in history are also the most misunderstood. While the loud ones try to look powerful, the quiet ones have already won without proving anything. And in the end, the world doesn't remember who talked the most. It remembers who knew how to stay silent and rule.